I've been briefly told that you were a very nice bunch and that everything went well. I'm happy to be here to summarize, having opened here a few days ago on the question of interdiction, Coast Guard protection, trade facilitation. I was happy to be here to learn from the Assistant Director of Impacts on the need for civility, kindness, compassion, and empathy as common practices for customs and immigration in our region. We have heard of the continuing figures of low crime in Montserrat brought by the Commissioner of Police, and that the Montserrat National Security Infrastructure has been upgraded to include a drone, soon to have a marine vessel, advancing in closed circuit TV, and improvement in evidence collection. And of course, there was the appeal for more men and women in our immigration, customs, and police forces. But the top of the agenda this week would have been you 30 participants whose names are listed here, and it seems that you have all graduated. Anybody with A or A minus? All A plus plus? Okay, so we're going to have 30 names called, and Honorable Lewis will then this afternoon distribute the prizes. I wasn't here for the rest of the week, not the prizes, the awards, the graduation gifts, whatever we might call it. Certificates, we have certificates? Yeah. And then we shall close these weeks of events. So to put us in the picture of what happened here, may I therefore proceed with asking a representative of the Immigration Department to address us.
I would like to adopt the protocol that has already been established. On behalf of the Integrated Border Security Unit, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our instructors, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Harris, Mr. Hall, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Williams, Mr. Potter, Miss Hughes, I do apologize, and even my colleagues, as we all learn from each other, for the knowledge that has been imparted upon us over the past week. The training is of critical importance to us as we have the task of protecting our borders and our country and all those who dwell within it. Our jobs are by no means easy, but with the tools, techniques, and strategies we gained here this week, we are better equipped to carry out our duties. Criminals update their skills and techniques regularly, and therefore, we too, as border security officers, need to update our skills and techniques in order to combat them and their crimes. I know that if we continue to work together, we would be able to be triumphant in carrying out our jobs because we are a special unit, molded by training and guided by God. So with the training that we received this week, I want to thank you all once again on behalf of all colleagues, police, immigration, and the phytosanitary. Thank you very much.
And Defense Force was added there, Lisette. Thank you very much, Lisette Menzies from the Immigration Department. I'm going to have a quiz, okay? There's going to be a quiz. You're going to have to give you have to give 3 reasons at the border that you could use when denying somebody entry. You have to give 3 reasons. Is that the right 3 reasons? That's a good way to put it. 3 reasons that you can present to deny when denying somebody entry into the territory at the border. 3 reasons. And then somebody's going to have to explain. The second question is going to explain immigration subsection 9A, 9B. Look it up. Don't let me have to tell you what it is. Just make sure you all know 9A and 9B. Let me have Rochelle Reed from Customs now on her police. Sorry, yes.
First and foremost, to the Almighty God for granting us all good health, having blessed us with the presence of mind to be receptive to the lessons delivered and internalized to be assimilated. I want to say thanks to the funders of the training who, through this venture, have expressed their shared significance and the need to standardize border security within the region. Thank you also to CARICOM Impacts for putting together this training in an effort to put us and our CARICOM counterparts on equal footing. This training has helped us to reinforce the CARICOM vision, which is epitomized by Montserrat Living. Special thanks is extended to our bright and charismatic coordinator, Ms. Joycelyn Hughes. Thank you for always keeping us energized and focused. To the facilitators, thank you for providing a warm, welcoming learning environment and for sharing your wealth of experience from which we have learned. I know I can be long, but I'm almost finished. To the local coordinators of the training, including those instrumental in the facility and the sustenance, we say thank you. An additional layer of gratitude is extended to the local law enforcement agencies. We, the officers, we appreciate the opportunity and we feel honored to be able to participate in this training as it better equips us and it helps to enhance the experience of the traveling public while effectively enforcing our legal mandate. Finally, I would like to convey to our leaving facilitators and coordinators best wishes on your CARICOM journey. We wish you high quality and safe travels.
Today marks the end of your training. I'm sure that every participant here today will carry forward what has been taught during the last week. This capacity building program is just a platform. You are the ones to make the change for development. I want to tell you that we deeply appreciated your contributions to the training by serving as participants. I would like, on behalf of the facilitators, to formally thank you for the dedication you have put in to make this joint border security workshop so successful. We were highly appreciative of your full participation, and that is no doubt. Our objective has been to deliver a program which would result in the enhanced security for Montserrat. I am sure that this was achieved. With the knowledge acquired during the sessions, we are sure that you are now equipped to do even more in preventing illegal activity at your borders and by extension regionally and internationally. We would be more than willing to share in the responsibility to work with you again. And we hope that that satisfaction to work with us is the same as on your part. We hope you will judge yourselves not on your accomplishments alone, and as your professional accomplishments, because all of you are professionals, but also on the way you address the subject matter which was discussed. Strengthening borders, that is. It has been an honor to be among such individuals and to be able to present our perspective before you all. Thank you and have a good day.
I was equally impressed when the stage was set for these workshops by the rather germane comments on civility, kindness, compassion, and empathy, which were echoed by our next speaker, Mr. Earl Harris. I'm sure he'll be speaking in the same vein. Mr. Harris, thank you for coming, and please address us.
It is my pleasure to present to you the first Joint Border Security Training graduates of 2018 from the beautiful island of Montserrat. And please join me in giving them a lusty round of applause. Mr. Marshall said all that I was going to say. I mean, Hall. You know, I couldn't let you get away with that. Well, it has really been a wonderful experience this week. On behalf of the team and myself, we thoroughly enjoyed it. You have been a very energetic class. We were saying last night this week flew. And normally when there's a low energy class, it drags. But Honorable Minister, I'm here to testify this evening that the borders of Montserrat are in good hands. You have a wealth of experience. You have the youth coming along who have taken to the training. And it was really a pleasure being here with you this week. We had some very topical, I shouldn't say discussions, or I should say issues. Issues like, when does a gift become a bribe? Are you born with integrity? Or is it a learned? But for me, I remember when I was growing up, and your parents would instill in you, you are a Harris, or you are a Boatswain. And that, maybe not a good example, but that's my friend, man. That's all right. Amazing Grace. Yeah, and the name meant something, right? There are certain things you knew you couldn't do. There are certain things, activities you knew you couldn't be caught up in because you were representing the family. I personally have no issue in accepting a gift from a friend, an associate, a grateful business person, because there are protocols established for accepting gifts. And normally you accept it and you share it with your colleagues. But when the price you pay for that is your integrity, when the price you pay for that is looking the other way or allowing him to slip by, escaping the custom duties, that for me is when you cross the line and when it's a bribe. And we have all grown up, and in growing up, we look forward to hearing 3 words from your parents, from your significant other. Sometimes they're the hardest words to say. I love you. Remember those days? When you have your significant other or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and they're looking forward to hearing those 3 words, and it's the hardest words to say. But it's a lot more difficult when someone comes up to you and say, I own you. Because you, when you put on the white, when you put on the blue, you are ambassadors for Montserrat. The safety and security of your citizens depends on you. What you allow to get in, how you screen, how you vet, how you maintain this nice social fabric, this crime-free territory, this unspoiled territory. Because all of the facilitators here come from territories where murders are the norm. Jamaica is grappling with it, Trinidad and Tobago is grappling with it. We do 3 to 5 a night, some weekends you do 17. Just picture what impact a murder or 2 will have on Montserrat. This close-knit family, this close-knit society where everybody knows everybody, just picture what impact crime would have on your society. I was at a Rotary dinner this week and they asked me, what do you recommend for Montserrat to improve? Or, we always have this issue, we want to earn more revenue. We want to become first world. And I told them bluntly, I said, if you want to maintain what you have, continue following the model you're following. We have been around a bit. I want to thank Mr. Lee and Sydney for facilitating us. We were able to go down to Plymouth and to see what they call it, the buried city. And in that devastation, I from the outside, I'm seeing opportunity. That is an excellent tourism product. People will pay a lot of money to come there and feel as if they're in Universal Studios or Disneyland. Because nowhere else in the world would you see something like that. A deserted city, a buried city. So there are ways and means of increasing revenue. But maintain your integrity, maintain your borders, guard them jealously, because we envy you. We don't come from territories where you could leave your keys in your car, you could leave your house open. You could forget your handbag on a seat, or your briefcase or your laptop. So guard this space jealously, do your jobs fearlessly. It has been an excellent week. We have learned a lot from you. I hope you have learned a lot from us. We may have taught you new tricks, new techniques. It may be something you have already known, but we have reinforced it. And I know every one of you now know how dangerous a backpack is. Thanks to Ms. Hughes. So in closing, I really want to thank you. It's been a great experience. And apply the lessons you learned this week. Tell your colleagues who weren't here to participate in this training. And we have realized that since we started, we started off with CBP. We started off with a lot of foreign material, a lot of material that applied primarily to the US experience. But as we go through the islands, we recognize we have our own story to tell. We have our own pictures. We have the seizures. We have evidence of the swallowers, the arms traffickers. And what I promise you, that we are going to try our best to get that information. And even if we can't put it in the training programs right now, at least we'll put it on our website. So you can go to the website and understand and appreciate what is going on in the region and why you need to protect your borders from these foreign elements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Now, I have the pleasure of inviting you to hear our keynote speaker. I've supplemented the keynote speaker, and I'm asking Mr. Peter White, the Director General of Montserrat Customs and Revenue Service, to deliver his message as the keynote address for today. Mr. White.
It's been a busy week for us here in Montserrat. Busy, busy indeed. We know that we have the team here from the FID holding discussions with the government of Montserrat to make a determination what sort of financial assistance they'll give us, both on the recount side and the capital side, for the coming year. I had to play my part in that. I made my appearance, and I believe I came out in a good mood. I'll say that much. Right. Because I wasn't begging for anything. I was just telling them what we can do. So there's nothing to worry about in that regard. It's been a busy week. Again, because we have so many law enforcement officers here for the 5 days in this training. 30 persons from law enforcement background here. It's been a busy week for us as it relates to enforcement. I don't think in recent times we have 4 cases in 1 week. But I will stick to the line that they're very much unpublicized until we get them where they need to go. But it's a challenge carrying out, 4 simultaneous investigations for 4 matters we're dealing with, all relate to border issues. That only goes to show how pertinent our training is, that we could keep things rolling. Some are specific customs, some are customs and immigration, and some we got to get the assistance of the police into it. That's the level of what we have to deal with as we go along, all in an effort to keep this little island safe. I'm glad my colleague, Mr. Harris from CARICOM, was able to echo and dwell on the peace and tranquility we enjoy here, and that it is a waste of time to lock your cars and so on, because if someone steals it, where are they going to take it? I can assure you, Mr. Harris, that if you borrow my Jeep and drive from here to the bakery and come back, somebody will tell me there's a stranger driving your Jeep. You can't go much farther than that. And that's, for now, we enjoy that and we make the best of that. My good colleagues, after this training, we need to prepare ourselves physically and mentally to deal with the challenge coming up for St. Patrick's Week. I'm told it'll be 4 times bigger than what we just had. For Christmas, I've seen some discussions going around looking at possibly engaging up to 4 or 5 ferries to bring people in. That's the level of activity we're looking at for St. Patrick's. Okay? we're hoping that all of this is timely. We also see again that we're having an increase in exports of sand mining products, meaning that Plymouth facility would probably be operational 3 or 4 times per week. Great demand on our time and our efforts. We're preparing also to continue the dialogue with our neighbors in Antigua with a view, without getting into any specifics, some tricky discussion that may result in more persons coming to Montserrat on a daily basis. This is at an advanced stage. Soon as we get everything finalized, everybody will be briefed. But I am trying to build the point that after this training, there is quite a lot of work ahead of us. Movement of people and movement of goods. Coming out of the talks, we don't know what will be finalized for development projects. Whatever they are would mean that we see a great amount of goods coming into the country. And of course, we'll just learn from recent experience that we have to be vigilant when it comes to goods coming into our country. 2 of our cases that we're dealing with has to do with things that were concealed in what should be legitimate goods coming into our country. We'll see how those play out without getting into any detail. But it shows that we need to be vigilant. We are not that blessed with X-ray machine that we could X-ray everything that comes into the country to know what's hidden in them. It has to clearly be intelligence-led, and we know, we get information, we know what to focus on, what we could let through, and so on. It's a tricky situation. But as the residents of this country will say, it's all in our hands to keep this country safe. Of course, we know that those of us who have to work at the port and the airport, the increased requirements for port security improvement and vigilance as it relates to the operation of those facilities themselves. And of course, we, carrying out our work, have to make sure we comply with them. All more telling on us, and sometimes do make our work a little bit more difficult. But we have to work together and comply to make sure that Montserrat is deemed as a, what should I say, a compliant country as it relates to international security matters, a safe country as it relates to serving our people on island. In my opening address earlier this week, I mentioned the fact that the governor's office was spearheading the project to name our new Coast Guard vessel that we'll be getting. I don't know if you listened to the news, but the name is out. I think it will be called Heliconia Star. And we have checked the Montserrat registry and the UK registry, and there's no other ship sailing the seas registered with that name, so that will be the name that will be on our coastal asset that we expect to be here in April. So we will be sailing the seas on the Heliconia Star. We will fly the airs in something else, the skies in something else later, indeed. We'll get there. So I just want you to appreciate the effort that's been put in to protect our borders and to protect our people. There are those who will say to you that the economic challenges in the country, that's the argument, not a problem. We should open our gates and let more persons come in. But are we prepared to deal with the challenges that comes with that? Some people have the view we don't need to examine anything or ask any question. I know we had a recent case flying around in social media about some questions we asked one person returning to Montserrat. We don't respond to those. What I'll say to those who may need to hear this, we have our work to do. And we will do it the best we can with having regard to, of course, being polite and welcoming to those who come to our shores. And we will not say anything different from that. In closing, I just want to bring everything together that we have been hearing about in different pieces of news clips within the last year. I mentioned them at the start, and I'm now going to mention them here at the closing. And it is that we wish to assure our residents and those who live here in Montserrat that we are doing all that we can to reduce any bad influence that would enter our country by way of goods or persons. That is why we are putting so much effort, and we are so appreciative of CARICOM Impacts coming to Montserrat and conducting this training. We are happy that Minister Paul Lewis is here, if it's even just to give out the certificates, because he understands the importance of border protection. And through his generosity, he was able to give to the Royal Montserrat Police Force aerial drone through his ICT program that we could use to monitor our borders from a safe place. And for that we're extremely grateful. I just heard the news the other day, I think it was in Miami, where some persons were rescued by the use of a drone, was able to take out a life vest and drop it to them, and so on. That is being creative. And we are being creative here. And we are happy that the ICT department, through the astute leadership of the minister, have supported us. And we wish to say, hope he will continue to do so in other ways. Indeed. We really appreciate that. Of course, we alluded to the planned coastal surveillance system. Some of the equipment we know are already on island, and we hopefully will start having them installed pretty soon, mainly to keep track of maritime traffic around our islands. We are limited in what we can do. We are limited in how we could literally get around our coastline. So we are relying very heavily on the boat that's coming and on technology to assist us in keeping this country safe, right? And that one would be led by Customs. I think Customs, the comptroller would have, through his initiatives, and was able to twist my arm, was able to get the funding to buy quite a bit of that equipment, and they're all here on island, just waiting for installation. And for that, we'll see how it goes when they're up and running. The advanced passenger system, again, we are waiting to hear from CARICOM Impacts where we are with that, and its implementation. I have done my part, and I'll share the secret with you. This thing I've been running for so long, trying to get it passed. And by some trick, I was work on assistance with Mr. Hogan. They even allowed me to act as financial secretary to go in the House, Legislative Assembly, to even explain it. So now I've done all of that. I hope that implementation is on the way. I act when I have to act, but don't put me as governor. Warn you with that. Okay, so right, okay. Again, I mentioned the improved collaboration with our colleagues in Antigua, which is something that we have to do. We don't have a choice, and we get along very well with our colleagues in Antigua. And what I'm saying here is, indeed, is far above what we call the normal collaboration with other territories. Right? As I said, over 90% of our passengers come through Antigua to Montserrat. So it is in our interest to make sure that we're working with them. Right? Our enhanced marine tracking system with Sail Clear is up and running, and we plan to expand it. We do have the equipment to even put another, another portal somewhere in Montserrat when we get to that, and when the government chooses to declare another maritime port of entry, we have the equipment that we could set up Sail Clear wherever government gives approval for that purpose, right? And of course, we can do all of that. We can detect things that are happening, but we need to take them all through to successful prosecution. So we will be meeting like this, all of us, in another 1 or 2 sessions to make sure that when we get all these evidence that we can prepare proper case files to put before the DPP, who will in turn successfully argue the cases, so that the 16 persons at HMP may get company, if that is what the court so chooses. Now, that's a very serious matter, that, as I say, we can do all that we can, find things and so on, but we can't prepare proper cases and make sure that the message is sent properly, then we have a problem. And we will be addressing that in the coming year. That's a commitment given to us by the DPP. In closing, I wish to, again, acknowledge the assistance of CARICOM Impacts, and I would take the chance to repeat myself that we can host more CARICOM activities in Montserrat. Yes. I checked, and just to make sure that I wasn't mistaken, the new accounting officer for the Premier's office, who deals with subscriptions, can attest that we don't owe CARICOM nothing. We are one of the very few countries who are compliant with all our subscriptions and obligations. So I think we deserve more. The Premier didn't ask me to say that, but I'm sure he'd be happy that I said it. That's how I represent people when I have to. Indeed. So, I hope that whether it be the new PS in the Premier's office who deals with regional matters, or the Premier himself will be opening quite a few more CARICOM events, or speaking at quite a few more CARICOM events here in Montserrat. And I wouldn't say anything after that. I close it right there. Thank you all very much.
I would certainly like you to know, sir, that we're in the procurement phase for the APIS equipment. Yes. And in the second quarter of this year, APIS will be a reality in Montserrat. And I'm taking back with me your standing invitation to host more CARICOM functions. Yes. And I see you endorsed by Ms. Cassell. Yes. So it's a done deal.
Let me take the opportunity, seeing that he's master ceremony and he could not set the protocol for himself, to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Claude Hogan. And of course, I think that is well within the reach of everyone here. All I'd like to say today is that I'm proud that everybody here has a look around. I was looking to see who failed. I was told quietly that everybody passed and that you did very well. And that my good friend there is not only good for accompanying the governor, but I think she scored the highest. Yeah, so let me just join with everybody else and say congratulations. And just to say that I wouldn't like to have your job. Because when you're doing your job, you're criticized. When you're not doing your job, you're criticized. And I'd just like to say, if it's one person that appreciates what you're doing, I do. I know others do too, but I mean, it's not normally expressed openly. So I just want to give you a little encouragement in terms of doing what you have to do. When you fizz me, don't fizz me too hard. Yeah, so other than that, that's all I want to say. Thank you to CARICOM and to our management team. Without the management team, we couldn't have this been pulled off. So while we need the Indians, we also need the chief. So let me just congratulate the chief as well. And so that, let the chief know that you all appreciate what they do. Yes, so CARICOM, on behalf of the government of Montserrat, we, the government, would like to thank you for coming here. And I know that Derek had a lot to do with it, but notwithstanding that Derek gets his credit and Mr. White gets his credit, the government of Montserrat would like to extend thank you for coming here. And I'm pleased that you enjoyed the ride in your private jet coming over. Let's hope you come again. Yes.
Honorable Minister, or should I say Honorable Ministers of Government, Permanent Secretary, Director General, Customs and Finance, Assistant Director, CARICOM Impacts, Comptroller of Customs, Regional Trainers, that includes you, Albert, participants, my lovely participants, my brothers and sisters, media, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to propose a vote of thanks as the Border Security Affairs Specialist at CARICOM Impacts. As Mr. Harris said, it was an indeed pleasure to be with you this week, for the past week. It was filled with lots of discussions about protecting our borders and even our neighbors' borders, Redonda. So thanks for that. We all shared our experiences and also future opportunities on how we can work closer together as regional border security officers. And for this, we wish to thank the government of Montserrat for providing us the opportunity to deliver this training. And indeed, this may be the first one, but it's not the last. We will be back. I think that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right, who said that? Definitely. Honorable Minister Lewis and also Honorable Hogan, Minister Hogan, or Honorable Hogan, okay. Permanent Secretary, Director General of Montserrat Customs and Revenue Services. We are greatly encouraged by your presence this afternoon and our enormous respect to you, and thank you for assigning this wonderful group to be trained this week. We express our sincere gratitude to our Executive Director Acting for allowing Impact's team the opportunity to implement the region's crime and security agenda and anti-crime and security initiatives to secure our region. We would like to express our sincere thanks and recognition to the European Union through the 10th European Development Fund for providing the funding for this program and also its alignment with the CARICOM Crime and Security Strategy. Thanks to our distinguished Master of Ceremonies for doing such a wonderful job on the opening ceremony, at the opening ceremony, and also for the closing. And we really thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Our gratitude to you, the participants, who showed the enthusiasm for capacity building and welcomed this training. We are aware that there are different agencies who play a vital role in border security, but it all starts with you guys, and we're so happy that you are way ahead of the region with your integrated border security service here. Other countries are doing that, and you need to give Montserrat is, and we hope that you will continue to build on that. You understand? I think St. Lucia is moving there, also Trinidad. Other countries are moving, but we're happy to know that we already have you here to guide us. Also, let me convey thanks to all of you who are here today, and we're delighted that you were permitted to attend this training. This truly reflects the heads of departments' commitment to training and development and the need to address the border security concerns. Further, we are grateful to our regional trainers, Wayne Hall from Barbados Customs, Colville Lewis from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Immigration, and of course your very own Inspector Albert Williams, Montserrat Police and Immigration. What's that? Okay. We would like to express special thanks also to and appreciation to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection for assisting CARICOM Impacts with the training of these facilitators. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to the Customs Department of Montserrat for assisting with the logistical support and guidance in the delivery of this workshop. Especially your very own Comptroller Lee, and also Sydney and Darian. Okay, we really want to thank you guys. We all work together, shoulder to shoulder, to make this training course successful, and indeed you would say it was successful, right? Yes. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of task. Participants, this is the beginning. We must use our most important tool, and we know that what that is, right? Can you remind me? It is you, the officers. And as the Director General indicated earlier, you must be very vigilant while performing your duties because of the proposed increase in traffic at your borders.